Hey everyone, Adam Guthrie here from I Feel Good magazine, and I'm super stoked today because I have somebody joining me that once did. I'm going to start again. Here we go. Hi everybody, Adam Guthrie here from I Feel Good magazine, and I'm super stoked today because I've got someone very special to share with you, and it's very special to my heart as well. It's because the person that you're about to hear from actually started her plant-based journey at one of my cooking classes. And her name is Hollie Kempton. She is a nutrition health coach, and she's a powerlifter and a teacher. And she shares the plant-based message, and she's a great advocate of it. And she's going to share our story with us. So welcome, Hollie. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for having me on the first course that made me realize that plant-based was definitely not impossible and 100% the best way to go.
No, my pleasure. How long ago was that? That was like a while ago.
It has to be, I think, probably 3 or 4 years ago. Probably 4.
Yeah, wow. And that was down in Berry on the South Coast. I'm living in Byron now. Whereabouts are you?
I am still in Wollongong. I wish I was in Byron. I'm still in Wollongong.
Excellent. So tell us, Hollie, how did your plant-based journey come about? But before you share that with us, where are you now? What's your life like now, like 4 or 5 years later since being plant-based? What are you doing? What's your health like? Let us know.
Okay. So my life at the moment is pretty hectic, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I love what I'm doing. So I am a PDH PE teacher, but I'm also going back to uni and I'm doing Nutrition and Dietetics through Endeavour College. Loving it. The wellness journey has just continued since doing that course. I did my health and nutrition coaching, and I just have become obsessed with really good food that makes people excited about eating plant-based. I've also written 2 cookbooks, which was quite a journey, but I have you to thank for that. And my day-to-day life is pretty busy. I get up really early. I get up at about 4:45 in the morning. I'm not tired. Like, I have energy. People think that's a crazy time to get up, but it's not when you wake up and you feel good. So I get up and I train probably about 2 hours. So weight training, a little bit different to probably what most people do in a gym. It's powerlifting specific. So a lot of strength work. I still do cardio because I know I need a strong heart and lungs, and I definitely have not forgotten that on my journey, which a lot of people forget. So I teach spin classes as well because you just can't get enough. So I train in the mornings, I go to work, I finish, sometimes I teach a spin class in the afternoon, or I work with a client. Every day is a little bit different now that I'm back at uni and I'm not teaching full time, but I'm loving it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's so nice having variety in your day, huh?
Yeah.
But every day's a bit different. But I'm interested in the powerlifting because, I remember when you came to the course, you're like this, lean, petite, and now you're like lifting powerful weights, and you're like Australian national. Like, you ranked in nationals, yeah? Tell us about that.
So I went to nationals in 2017. And I'll be going to represent again in 2019. So I'm ranking in, I think, about the top 5 at the moment, which is good. It will be better, but it's good for now. And I do 3 events when you do powerlifting. So it's a squat, a bench press, and a deadlift. At the moment, I am chasing very, very close to a 3 times bodyweight deadlift. So at the moment, I'm 2.9. So my last test, I got a 138. So hoping for that 3 times body weight, which will then put me as the only other person apart from my coach in the gym that can do that, which is exciting because myself and my coach are very different. Obviously, he's a man. I'm, a woman. I'm quite little. I only compete in the 48 kilo class. But it certainly doesn't mean that you can't be strong for your body size, which I think is really good to show young people and to women in particular who become really afraid of, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to bulk up, but I've just built lean body mass. I am healthy. I feel energetic. I'm not too bulky where I can't do other things. You know, I can still run. I can still do cardio. I can still do HIIT classes. So it's just been so fantastic. And I'm probably one of very few people in that community that are plant-based.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've just done all, you know, ranking in powerlifting all on a plant-based diet.
Yeah, 100% plant-based diet since I started powerlifting, which I remember when I first started, my coach said to me, oh, but how are you going to get enough protein? Surprise, the protein question. And I just don't worry about it. I said, if I stop getting stronger or if you think I'm doing something wrong in the gym, just tell me about it. And despite all these questions, I was getting better. So he said to me one day, oh, do you know what? I want to know how much protein you're getting. And I was like, well, I don't count things because I don't care. I just ate an abundance of plant foods, but okay, I'll do it. So I got my Fitness Pal out and, you know, stuffed about with that for the day. And lo and behold, my protein intake was actually perfect and spot on where it needed to be. So he dropped that, and that was the end of that. That was about 2 years ago, and we haven't had that conversation again.
Wow, that's awesome. So when you say it's spot on, like where it should be, what are the macros that that he wanted you to work to?
So he said to me, because he was probably a little bit higher than, you know, what the World Health Organization would suggest, like 0.8. He was suggesting 1 gram per kilo of body weight. And he kind of said to me, oh, you'll struggle to do that. And I thought, well, I don't actually know because it's not something that I've measured. So let's just see. So a normal day of eating, I tracked it and I thought, wow, that's actually fine. So 1 gram, easy, no protein powders, no protein bars, none of that. And I thought, well, maybe this is just today. So I kept doing it for a few days and yeah, no issue.
So what were the foods that you were eating to give you that amount of protein that you wanted, like one to one?
So stuff that I eat every day, beans, you know, legumes, whole grains, lots of fruit and veggies, a little bit of nuts and seeds, nothing that I thought was spectacularly different or special protein food.
Just the standard whole food plant-based diet, huh?
Yeah, it just works itself out perfectly.
It's amazing, isn't it? Wow, that's awesome, Hollie. So let's go back to before you were whole food plant-based, before you went vegan. What was it that started to stir this in you to want to come to my course and start to learn about this? What was making you do that?
So I suppose it probably started around about high school when I noticed a lot of my friends. Now, I've always been quite lean. I don't attribute this to just being plant-based. I think I probably have what I've learned, I think, is good gut bacteria that helps me to have a really good metabolism. But my friends started to go on diets because a lot of them started putting on a lot of weight. And so I looked into the foods, you know, what are they eating? And some of them were doing crazy things like, you know, they weren't eating for a long time and they might have an apple and then they would have a bag of chips and then they, of course, would eat, you know, a tub of ice cream because, you know, they'd just failed and everything, you know, turned sour. As you do when you're hungry. So I looked into it and started reading some things and, you know, everything was definitely centered around obviously more fruit and vegetables, but the high protein message was definitely out there. So I started eating a lot of kangaroo meat, thinking that's the healthy kind of meat. You know, it's low fat, it's great for you. And it didn't really sit well with me. Not sit well with me in my gut, but I just didn't feel good about eating animal products. And to be fair, as a kid, like looking back on it, my mum, you know, shared with me, I always complained about, Mummy, my tummy, it feels really greasy after eating meat and stuff like that. And she's like, it's kind of like you were always meant to eat plant-based. You knew it, but you didn't know how to verbalize it and you didn't know what else to do. So upon my journey, I found Forks Over Knives and I watched that DVD and my husband and I watched it together and we just looked at each other and we went, oh no, like this is really different to what we're doing because, you know, doing the dairy thing and the Greek yogurt. And we kind of went, oh, this is really inconvenient. And we looked at each other and, you know, he's a science guy and he went, oh, right, well, we better have a look and have a read of the China study because it's, you know, based off the China study. So lo and behold, we read the China study and we both looked at each other and went, oh, we can't ignore this. Like you can't. The science is there. And so we went, right, well, we've got to learn how to do this because I said to him, look, I'm not eating meat and it's up to you, like what you're going to do with this. And he went, oh, I can't now. So that was it. We just stopped.
Wow.
And we didn't really, like, I didn't have cravings. I didn't care. I felt good. I started feeling better and better.
And that's amazing because everybody that I teach or I've come across who eat this way, they all say the same thing. They feel better, they get more energy, they think clearer, and it happens in weeks. Like even in a weekend, it can happen. Just by doing it for a weekend, you'll notice things starting to shift.
Absolutely.
So, any challenges going that way? Like, did you struggle with anything, or were you concerned about anything?
I don't think I was. I mean, I thought about the protein thing, but I remember going, oh, I don't know, it should be all right. Like, I won't really worry too much about protein. I was more concerned about, like, when I go out with my friends, what am I going to do? Like, is the world going to end? Like, how will I go out to cafes? And I've just realised that, well, number one, there's been a huge shift in the time, even since I've been plant-based, and places understand the word. And, you know, if you're nice and you're friendly and you have a little joke with them or you call ahead at a restaurant, we've had some of the most amazing meals that chefs were excited to create for us. And they came out of the kitchen and were like, how was it? Was it good? You know, did you enjoy it? We were like, this is great. And the other people at the table were like, how come they got something special?
Yeah, I find the same. Everyone wants the dish that I have.
Yeah. So I just stopped worrying so much. And I thought, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, I'll find something. And if I can't eat something out with my friends, I'll have a coffee, I'll enjoy their company, and I'll eat when I get home because I can cook well at home.
Yeah. So when you eat out, what are your tips? How do you go about eating whole food plant-based, or do you just eat vegan? I mean, what's your criteria, and how do you find the good places and get the food that you want?
So, yeah, my criteria is I've actually never tried I've never tried mock meat. So I haven't had any Beyond Burgers. I don't know what they taste like. I don't want them. They
I haven't had one either.
I'm like, I don't want it. And I said to my husband, do you want to try it? Like, and he was like, no, ew, it's kind of like meat. I don't want that anymore. So we definitely do the whole food plant-based thing. So when we go to a restaurant, if it's somewhere that I'm booking and it's not my choice of restaurant, I would call ahead. And I might have a little look over their menu if it's online, which most are these days. And I'll say, I'll look at a dish and I'll say, well, that's easily veganized. And then I can sometimes talk them through, like, what to, you know, eliminate from the food or what they can add instead. And I haven't had an issue. Like, I understand that restaurants might need a little bit more time. So I do like to call ahead if I can. But cafes nowadays are really easy. I just say, you know, can I have the salad? Can you take out the cheese? Could I have mushrooms instead? Or can I have avocado instead of that? And I haven't had a problem. I don't belittle the place because they don't have a vegan option. I'm just friendly and I'm myself, and they're fine. They don't care.
Yeah, that's the same. I do the same. You know, and I teach people the same. It's just, if you're going to a function or you're going out to a restaurant with other people and you haven't chosen the place, always call a couple of days ahead and tell them that you're vegan and no oil, and get something pretty good. And like you at a cafe, I'll always choose the leafy green option. I'll say, ditch the dressing and I'll just give me avocado and lemon juice, and that becomes my dressing, you know. It's super good. So it's so easy, isn't it? And there's so much variety, and it's cool now. There's so many vegan places. The other thing, when I eat out, I don't worry too much about when I eat out, and I don't eat out a lot. So I just order vegan. I don't go to too much stress about the no oil and things. What about you? Do you ask them to have no oil, or are you sweet with it?
So in cooking, I won't bother saying to them, don't put any oil or don't cook with that. Look, I haven't had heart disease. I don't have that issue, so I don't need to be as strict. In my own cooking, but at home, there is no oil added to the food or sauteed, none of that stuff. But dressings and stuff, I might say to them, can I have it on the side? And then I can look at it or dip my finger in and taste it, and I'll know straight away if there's oil in it. So if there's no oil, I'll add it. And if not, I'll just leave it to the side, because my palate's changed so much that I love just naked little vegetables.
I know. How good does celery taste? So salty, you know?
Yeah. And carrot, it's so sweet. I feel like a lolly now.
Yeah, absolutely. And sweet potato, you know? It's like so good. It's amazing how the palate changes. So tell me, how has things changed for you on going on that journey? Like what's your day-to-day life in regards to food prep? What was it like beforehand? What was it like now? What's changed? How did you learn how to do it differently? All of that sort of stuff. Give people some tips.
Okay. So the very first thing I did is I actually went to one of your cooking classes in Berry, and you taught me how to saute with no oil. And I have taught so many people that now. Awesome. They just don't believe it. And I'm like, just let me show you. Look, it works. And it tastes the same. So that was a really good start, because, you know, most recipes, you need a bit of garlic and onion. It spices it up. It tastes really good. So that was a start. And then I realized that I could cook really cheaply. So oats are cheap, you know, and then we started getting bulk food stores in the area. So I buy big sacks of beans. Like the lady's like, are you having people over? I'm like, no, that's just for me. So I get it and I put it in my my pressure cooker. I make a massive batch of beans, and then I just freeze them into portion sizes, and that's it. Like, it's easy. I can cook a big batch of brown rice and quinoa, have it in the freezer. So if I am having a day where I'm really busy, I know I can just go and grab that and done. Like food, beans, rice, veggies, finish. Like maybe a bit of hummus on it, but who doesn't like that?
That's right. And loads of leafy greens.
That's it. Yeah, leafy greens on everything.
Yeah, totally. That's really interesting. You know, it's the key to eating this way and making it sustainable is doing that prep of cooking, you know, big bulks of beans and rice and quinoa and even some meals and freeze them. And roasting off sweet potato and boiling potatoes, we always have them in the fridge as well. So I can just knock together like a meal in 10 minutes. Like,
that's right.
Super easy, super quick.
People think it's hard.
But if you don't do that prep, it does take a lot longer, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it does take a while to cook brown rice or, you know, beans. Like, they take a while to cook. If I've prepared them ahead of time and I've put them in I use an Instant Pot now, because all my friends in the States are like, you need one of those things. I got one and I love it. Like, I'm obsessed with it now. And my beans are done and they're ready to go. I don't have to buy cans, because I was having a bit of a can problem. My cupboard started actually bowing because I had so many cans of beans and stuff. And I was like, oh, God, I've got to find another way to do this, because this is impractical and like not expensive compared to meat, but certainly expensive compared to buying a big sack of them for like $5. Yeah. So it's cheap food, but it's good food.
Yeah, and it is a lot cheaper. So you love to cook, and you have done so many cooking classes here in Australia and around the world.
Yep.
And what are other tips that you've learned in cooking classes? Actually, before we go there, how do you saute without oil? I know, you know. Okay. Let's tell everybody else how to saute.
So I heat up my pan, and then once it's nice and hot, I put my onion in and I move it around. Just keep moving it a bit. It starts to stick like a little bit, and you'll start to get that sense of, oh, it's going to start to stick. It'll brown a tiny bit, and I always have like a water bottle beside me. And I just add a little bit of water at a time, and it goes translucent and it goes caramelized. And I normally put the garlic in maybe like halfway between, because I don't want my garlic to burn. That's it. Magic.
You get an A+. Great. And it gives that depth of flavour, you know, doesn't it? It's so good.
Still caramelized. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So cooking all this food and going to all these classes and learning how to cook plant-based, did that inspire you to create these recipes and create?
Oh my God, totally. I used to follow recipes, but I didn't get so excited. And now I'm excited about trying different flavors and spices. And whenever we go overseas now, I'll try and, go to a cooking class. So I think I've been in Thailand and Vietnam, and you might have gone in Cambodia, just to try and get an idea of the kind of spices that different cultures were using, and then how I could use it in my own cooking, because I don't need salt. I have so many spices. I buy them in bulk now because I use too much. And again, it's cheaper when you buy them in bulk. Like cumin, maybe this much is gone in a couple of weeks, because it's probably one of my favorites. But add spices to food because it just brings out more flavor. It doesn't need to be boring because you don't have a sauce. If you've got spices on it, it's perfect.
Yeah. What was in Thailand, what was the cooking class you went to there?
Actually went to the one that you recommended. So Make KD.
Ah, yeah. How good is that? Did you enjoy it?
Good. We absolutely loved it. I dragged the husband along, even though he doesn't do the cooking anymore. He's been outsourced. But even he was like, wow, this is really cool, different, just a little bit different to the way we were doing maybe some of the Thai food at home, and so much fresher. And and
you get deeper flavors, and you get that, real Thai authentic flavors now. Yeah,
and simple.
So simple, so quick. You get the wok and everything's chopped up, and in it goes, and you make 8 dishes. You feel stuffed after.
I'm so full.
That's awesome. So why did you write these books?
So I wrote the books because my friends and family kept saying to me, oh, you're putting up these pictures on Instagram. They look really good. But I can't cook that stuff. It's too hard. It's too expensive. I was like, no, you can. You don't even need that much ingredients. You start with a few base spices, you buy whatever's seasonal, and away you go. So I started writing the recipes down, and, I'd screen grab it or whatever, and I'd send it to them, and they were like, why don't you put it in a book? I'm like, oh, I can't do a book. It's that's for famous people. Famous people do books. They're like, what? You can make a book? And anyway, I did it, self-published it, and it was hard, but it was so worth it. And now I refer to my own recipes.
It's so handy when you've got your own book and you just open it up. Yeah. That's awesome. And it's a beautiful book. Rue and I have got a copy of it. It's just beautiful. It's a nice little, actually it's over there actually. But it's got some good recipes in it. And so anyone, if you want some inspiration and some new types of great whole food plant-based, and it's all whole food plant-based. It's whole food plant-based. Grab a copy of her book. It's amazing. So what's the difference between whole food plant-based and vegan? And why do you choose to do the whole food plant-based as opposed to just vegan?
So I have absolute respect for people that go vegan, because I think it's really admirable, caring for the planet and caring for animals, and it's a beautiful way to live. But I did a talk at a vegan festival, and I said to them, you guys are doing so much amazing things, but I feel like you're forgetting about yourself in this journey, and you're not feeding yourself the best food. I actually had a lot of people at the end say, you're right. I do care about animals. I do care about the planet. But I'm not eating the best because I'm going and buying, convenience junk foods, or even accidental vegan things like Oreos. And so, whole food plant-based is about nurturing yourself and looking after yourself. The healthcare system is absolutely crippled with people who, haven't been eating this way. And I think you can't look after animals. You can't look after the planet if you don't have your own health. So it has to start with you. You have to be the catalyst for that change. And you're on the airplane and they tell everyone, make sure you put your own oxygen mask on before you help other people. Well, this is the way I see it. You're putting on your oxygen mask, and then you're like, right, how can I now help the animals, help the planet? It all just intertwines together.
That's so beautiful. I've never heard that analogy before with in this context. But it's so true. Yeah. If you don't have the health, if we don't have the health, we don't have the energy, we can't go and help the suffering animals.
Absolutely.
And we don't have the energy to, go and make sure we do things to support and try and reverse this damage that's being done to the planet. Man, that's so good. So you originally came whole food plant-based because the health aspect of it.
Yeah.
But you're pretty passionate about the other things, like the animals and the environment now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm wearing my Vegan Vibes t-shirt all the time.
Oh, yeah? Where is it? Has it got it on now?
No, I don't have it on today. I should have put it on.
Tanya. If you haven't got a Vegan Vibes t-shirt, guys, go and reach out to In the Soul Shine, my friend Tanya. You get them from there. They're awesome. So, you wear the Vegan Vibes t-shirt. So tell me, what changed? Like, originally it came from health.
Yeah.
And then, but when you were a little kid, you also knew that meat for you wasn't one of your things. So how has your mind changed since you've gone plant-based, and your consciousness, and what's changed in that?
So much. So I thought I cared about the environment. I put my food, put my plastics in the recycle bin, and I always did that. We did that at home. But now I've just learned so much more. I listen to podcasts about, regenerating soil and making sure that, we're not cutting down trees because we need the bees and we need to look after them. And, I'm reusing my little glass jars to put my herbs in. And I think any little step that people can make is a good step. If you can do one thing, it's one thing you weren't doing before. And I think probably the biggest thing in our community, and particularly the vegan community, is just embracing any change as being a good change, and kind of being like that lighthouse. Look at me, I'm shining, I'm bright, I'm fine, you can join, and having open arms rather than you're not doing it right or you're not doing it perfect. So the planet, if we don't have a planet, what are we going to eat? We're going to have nowhere to go.
Exactly. So your consciousness has changed in a way that you're more open to different viewpoints, and rather than judgmental. Is that what's happened?
Yeah, definitely. So, I appreciate passion in all forms, and I just try to, when somebody asks me a question about being plant-based, I will always answer it with facts. Like, they're definitely going to get the facts. And then I kind of add it also helps because you're not, killing animals, which you don't need to kill because look at me and I'm fine. And guess what? Sustainability, look at that Lancet report that just came out. We need to do something, and we need to do something fast. But, every little change helps. And the more I went into whole food plant-based, the more I understood kind of like my place on the earth is so tiny, but the impact that I can have is so big.
Yeah, just by doing it yourself. And we've all got that power. We've all got that control. We can actually, with our hands, every day, choose to put plants in our mouths rather than animals. And the plants heal our body, heal the planet, and create more love in the world. But if we choose meat, it damages the body, it damages the planet, and it creates pain and suffering in the world for living beings. Why wouldn't we choose? It's our choice. Everyone has a choice.
And I remember walking through the aisles in, Woolworths or whatever, and picking up the meat, thinking I needed it, but really feeling this sense of like there goes another one. And really feeling bad about it, but not even putting the thought in my head, but what if I don't eat this? And how can I do this? And now I just can't even go past. I've just got to zoom past if I'm in there, and just try not to take on any of those negative vibes that I feel are just coming off the food.
Do you find that you have a heightened awareness, like your senses are more heightened and aware, and you can sense walking past meat and different things, and they give off a vibe, and everything has a vibration, and you start to feel it? Yeah.
Yes, you feel energy in your food, and you feel, when you're cutting up this fresh fruit, you feel happy doing it. But you feel happy, and there's this just love and light and, freshness coming off it, as opposed to, when you're cutting up chicken and, ew, you can't touch a surface because this bacteria is going to kill me if it, sits out in the sun, and all these worries and negative thoughts, as opposed to chop up fresh fruit and veg, eat it, prepare it the way you want it. It's really positive.
It is super positive, and it's true. There's less chance of getting food poisoning when you just eat plants. There's no contamination and bacteria that can hurt you. So tell me about what inspired you to go and become a powerlifter.
No, I was at the gym, and I've always worked in a gym environment as well. But I kind of got stale, and I was like teaching these classes and putting a lot into it. And people were saying to me, "Oh, thanks, you really pushed me. I felt really good." But myself, I was like, well, I'm not really pushing. Like, am I pushing? Am I reaching my potential? I wasn't. So I decided I'd need a personal trainer, and I went outside of the gym where I was working and sought out a personal trainer who has now ended up being my coach. And I just said, like, my only criteria was I want to get stronger, and that's it. And he went, well, what are you doing now? And I went, oh, well, kind of just teaching classes. And he went, well, you can keep doing that, but we're going to need to change stuff. And I just want you to trust me, and I want you to try not to overthink things. Classic me. And I just went, okay. And he said, I'm going to set you a program, and under my guidance, you're just going to do it. And you're going to trust me with the numbers, and we're going to start really easy, and you'll be fine. So I did. And it wasn't powerlifting then. It was just strength training. And after a little while, probably maybe 6 months, they kind of put the weight up on a deadlift bar, and they went, all right, off you go. And I thought, oh, well, okay, if he thinks I can do it, I'll just do it. And I did. And he looked at one of the other trainers, and I went, oh, what's this about? I probably did it terribly wrong. And he goes, I think you got something. And I went, what do you mean? He goes, that's actually really good. And I went, oh, is it? Like, he's like, yeah. And so he said, why don't you do a competition? I'm like, I can't do that. How am little me? How am I going to compete against the other girls? He goes, no, it's a weight class sport. And I went, oh, okay, I get it. All right. So other little people, he's like, other little people like you. And I went, right. And I just did it. And I've loved it. And I've loved every time I go in the gym, I'm kind of training my mind as well to believe that I can do something and follow through on the process, and being part of this process where you don't test your maximal weight pretty much until you go into competition. So you just got to chip away at it, believe in yourself, do the work, and then you see it kind of pay off at the end.
Wow. So I'm really interested in you're training your mind. Like, how do you do that? How do you train your mind for that competition?
So I think for me, it's about thinking, number one, I don't focus on any other sounds around me. I listen to my coach, I listen to his cues, and that's it. Like, I'm great at blocking the rest out, and that's important because, too many people chatting, it's just, the whole brain is just overstimulated. Then he'll give me maybe 2 or 3 cues, and he'll go, I just want you to think about this in your head and nothing else. Don't worry about missing. I'm behind you. I've got your back. So you have to trust another person, which is, I think, really good. And for me, it was, oh my God, like, I have to trust him with, myself. And I went, you know what? I'm going to trust this guy. He's shown me everything, and I think I can do this. And going into every lift, like, I've got this. Here are my 3 things that I need to think about. It's really trained my brain to be much more focused, but also believe in myself, because I was doubting myself a lot. Like, I can't do this. I can't squat that. I'm only little. Maybe I'm not having enough protein. A million different reasons you can come up with for not doing something.
Yeah. So what are the 3 things that he gets you to focus on?
Okay, so it would be different for every lift. So if I was doing a squat, it might be eyes up, and then it might be stay tight at the bottom of a squat. So that's like using like diaphragmatic breath, bracing against a weight belt that you have on, and then, keeping my chest up. So just 3 things. My eyes up, look up, yep, big breath, hold that breath tight as you can, chest up on the way up. 3 things, simple.
So it's like a meditation.
Yeah, very much so. It's great to block out the rest of the world because that's my one focus.
Do you find time disappears when you become focused like that?
Yeah, definitely.
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good because I'm a busy-brained person who likes to jump from thing to thing, and kind of anxious energy of let's go. This is great for slowing me down, stop, focus, commit to it, get it done.
Wow. That's incredible. Like, I'm blown away. I'm blown away that this whole journey for you, just started at a little cooking class that I held in Berry, and now you're like teaching people to eat whole food, plant-based. You've written 2 cookbooks. You're, ranking in the national powerlifting competitions.
Yeah.
And you're just this little petite thing that's got this power and energy. And it just proves that anyone can do this.
Yeah.
Anyone can do this. Okay, you don't have to be massive. You can be petite, but you can improve your health and become strong and do good for the planet and the environment just by eating plants.
That's right. And my bone density has just gone up and up and up.
Wow. So what are some of the other health benefits that's happened to you?
So I'm definitely stronger than I was. Obviously, mentally, I'm more focused. I believe in myself more, and I believe that there's more to life than just me. I can have a really big impact. It might be through people, it might be through animals, it might be through the environment, but I can affect change. My family now, we go out and there's more vegans than non-vegans because, and I'm not preachy, I just ate like I eat. I serve the food at home that's whole food, plant-based. They all eat it. They loved it. And one by one, they just started joining the lifestyle.
Well, you're a good example of it. Like, you're shining, you're healthy, you're vibrant, and that's, I found, and you probably found the same, when you commit to something and they start to see it's not a fad and you're moving into this and you're producing amazing health results.
Yeah.
They start to go, oh, maybe there's something in that, and they end up coming down that path.
Yep.
Obviously happened to you as well. It's happened to me too. That's so cool. So what else have I got to ask you? What you said about self-confidence. So you said about self-confidence, you've got a lot more self-confidence now. That sort of presupposed that you didn't have a lot of self-confidence before. What were you lacking in self-confidence? What was going on there?
I think for me, probably like so many other females out there, food had almost like a negative vibe to it. It was like, you can't eat this because, I don't know why, I've always been lean, but you're going to get fat, or you're going to look a certain way. And when I started eating whole food, plant-based, I didn't necessarily lose weight, but I just seemed more vibrant, like my skin, but also I developed muscle mass that I just couldn't develop before. I'm not sure if that's because I'm eating foods that's more nutrient dense as opposed to protein powders and things like that. I don't know the answer to that, but I just felt good. And when I felt good, I started to go, you know what, you can do these things and you can eat the food that you want to eat in abundance. You don't have to count calories. You don't need MyFitnessPal. Just things fall into place and you find a natural, healthy set point. And it's not hard, and food doesn't become calories. It stops becoming those things. And I think for most people, we walk around, not paying attention to how we feel, but I started to really pay attention. So what feels good? What do I eat before I train? Or, what breakfast foods make me feel amazing? And do those things and listen to my body. And when I started listening to my body, my confidence just got better.
How good's that? And what can you do with all this confidence now,
So now I'm trying. I'm still a teacher, so I definitely try to instill it in the kids that I teach, but also my health and nutrition clients. So I don't tell them that they need to go vegan. Definitely not. I always say to them, can we agree you need to have more fruit and veggies? They're like, yep. Can we agree that whole grains is probably better than processed? They go, yep. And can we agree that less is more in the meat and animal products? And they go, yep. And from there, I've ended up having maybe 4 or 5 clients go completely plant-based.
Wow.
And again, I didn't have to push them. They just felt better, as they crowded the animal products off the plate. And the other day I got an email from one who I was working with for 6 weeks. And he said to me, oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. So he had a stent put in, and he was told by his cardiologist, you know, you have to go on these drugs. You're on them for the rest of your life. I'm really sorry, but you nearly had a heart attack. You've got a family history. You're done.
That sounds
and he, yeah. And he said to me, well, I looked up Dr. Esselstyn, and he's like, plant-based diet. Like, and then I found your name, and he goes, can you help me get there? Because I really want to do it, but I don't know how. So as I coached him through it, and he was great. Like, he was so open-minded, and he's a man in his probably early 60s. And he said to me the other day, he went to his cardiologist, numbers are fine, off medication. He said to the cardiologist, it's the food. Oh my God, look how good. And the cardiologist said, oh, I don't know, like, maybe you're exercising more. And how frustrating. Like, what? Anyway, he also said, exactly, it's the food. He said to me, he's never slept better in his life. He used to go walking, but he couldn't run because he had sore knees. Now he runs. And text message came in yesterday. He competed in his first like car racing competition around Bathurst, and he came like top 5. And he said to me, you know, I couldn't do that before because my doctor wouldn't sign off on it because my blood pressure was too high and my cholesterol was too high. And they said, oh no, like you could have a heart attack. You know, it's actually really taxing on the body. I don't understand a lot about motorsports, but it's very taxing on the body. And as his fitness grew, he's fine. And he's plant-based now, doesn't use oil, and he's thriving. He's lost so much weight. He's the picture of health.
Wow, that's so awesome, huh? It's so good. Well done, man, for helping. You know, you're helping people transform their whole life, where their whole life was like, you know, they were limited in what they could do. And now, you know, with the work that you're doing, the work that I do, where we teach people how to eat this way, you see it with that person, I see it with my clients as well. Their whole life just opens up and they can do things that they could never imagine possible only a little while ago. It's so rewarding, isn't it?
So great. I'm so excited when I get those text messages and little breakthroughs that people get. And I say to them, you know, text me anytime if you have questions, or if you're at Woolies and you need some help of what to buy or what to swap. And it's a joy because I know how much better they're going to feel. And I just see them really growing as people. And it's like, who needs anything more? Like, that's just excitement.
It sounds like you found your passion, your purpose.
Yeah, so much.
That's super good. So what tips would you give anybody that's, number one, thinking of going whole food plant-based?
Okay, so probably my first tips is you don't need to do anything, pardon the pun, cold turkey. Just take an approach where you're crowding things out on the plate. So I always say, start with your green veggies, so your green leafies. So for many people, that doesn't even exist. That doesn't happen. So we find one that they like. So it might be something with less flavor, maybe like a baby spinach or even lettuce, like whatever. I'm just happy they're getting something green on the plate. Then I'll say to them, all right, let's add a bit more other veggies, so colourful veggies, so go for lots of colour. Then add a starchy vegetable and a whole grain. You know, if you can tolerate a little bit of beans, don't go all out. Otherwise, you're going to hate it. Your gut's not ready for it yet. Just start with a little bit, then we can work our way up. And if you still have room on your plate, put a little bit of meat and slowly reduce that portion. And if you feel good, keep going. That's it.
Guess what? Everyone feels good, right?
Yeah. And people don't have a problem. They go, well, I didn't need it anymore because I was full. And I'll say, start eating everything else and get to the meat last. Yeah. By the time they get to the meat, they're full. They don't need it. And they feel okay. The world doesn't end.
That's really, really good good tips, you know. It's just crowding it out. I love that thing of crowding it out. Don't go cold turkey. But start with the leafy greens and the vegetables and work your way to it. And if you can eat it, eat it. If not, and that's a great tip. Excellent.
Thank you.
What about vegans? You know, what are some of the things that, you know, around your family and your relationships and your friends when you first went vegan and plant-based, what sort of things did you cop? Did you get a hard time?
Well, first they said they all had a bet with how long, because it was me and my husband, how long they'll last. Oh, this isn't going to last long. I don't know why they thought that, because I've never done fad diets before. So anyway, how long will they last? Well, we outlasted everyone. So I don't know who lost money, but someone lost money along the way. We sometimes get where to get your protein, but we kind of explain that early, but definitely around friends and in the powerlifting community. Oh, how do you get your protein? What about protein shakes? No, I don't need them. Do you have one? I said, I've had one. I don't have to have it. If I want it, I could, but I don't want it. And probably, I don't know, the biggest thing is, what are you going to do when you go to restaurants? You just won't be able to do it. They won't cook for you. Like, they will cook for us. They're cooks. They know what they're doing. It's not hard. Just let them do their job. I'll do my job. And you know what? If I fasted for one meal, I'll be fine.
Oh, totally. It's so interesting when I talk to and interview people that eat a whole food, plant-based vegan diet, because we all eat very similar. Like our belief systems are so similar. Like it's the leafy greens first, and the legumes and a little bit of nuts and seeds and no oils. And then we have this belief, well, if we can't get any food out, which I've never had that problem, but my thought in my mind is I'll just fast. It doesn't matter. It's okay to fast for a few hours, do an intermittent fast. It's no big issue. So it's really, really interesting. And we've all got this energy and we've all got this vitality. Such a powerful way to eat and live.
Yeah. So
what's the future for you?
The future for me is to finish off university. I think... Look, it's not geared around plant-based, but there's definitely changes happening. But it gives me a standing within the professional community. She has a degree, therefore she must know what she's talking about, which is good. But look, I am learning a lot in biochemistry. Wow, like now I know exactly how plant-based diets work from the cell level, which is good, because it makes you appreciate things more. So, yeah, I've got to finish university and then hopefully, I don't know where it's going to take me from there. I'm getting excited and thinking maybe working more with children around healthy eating or working, around gut health. But I don't know, because I've become so excited about all different plant-based things that I haven't picked a focus yet.
Well, I'm sure it will come. You keep studying and it'll open up. You're destined to do something great in this field, I'm sure. Because you're a living example of it. You've got the energy, you've got the vitality, and you've got the knowledge. It's interesting you mentioned about the cell. Tell me about that, because, like, the quality of our health is the quality of our cells, right? And our cells are built by what we put in.
Yeah.
What have you learned so far about the cells?
So, things like antioxidants and how they stop all these free radicals going around and causing damage in the body. But you don't get antioxidants from meat. You get antioxidants from plant foods. Yes. And I was like, that is such a simple concept. People are trying to put antioxidant creams on and this on and that on and vitamin C on my head, and maybe that will make me look youthful. Everything that goes in your mouth is what does it. And the antioxidants are through your food and those colourful veggies. That's all you need.
That's right, and they go into the cells. They rebuild the cells.
You're building yourself from food.
Wow, that's awesome. Yep, so the quality of our health comes back to the quality of our cells. And
absolutely,
what affects the cells is what we put into our mouth. And the plants that are full of antioxidants, they are the things that create, and vitamins and minerals and nutrients and proteins, they actually build good, healthy cells, whereas the meat ones can create inflammation in the body.
That's right. Yeah, and when you're training, you don't want inflammation. You want to heal after your workouts and come back for more.
Yeah, and then they'll damage cells too, yeah? The meat can damage cells.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want the inflammation. So actually, that's interesting. So how have you found recovery? I mean, you've only done it whole food plant-based, but while you've been lifting weights. But have your trainers or coaches commented on your recovery compared to other competitors?
They do. Actually, they said probably around within women of similar ability to myself, I'm one of the ones that tolerates the most amount of volume. So they can throw more and more, and I recover and I'll come back the next day. And, I probably train the most amount of days compared to everybody else because I feel okay. And I can come back and I'm not sore. It's not dangerous or anything. I'm feeling pretty good. And when I do get that muscle soreness, it's over pretty quickly. And I just make sure there's loads of turmeric in my food, and it's a no-brainer. I feel good and I recover. Some of them, it's honestly, their joints are inflamed, and I don't have that.
Good on you. The turmeric, anti-inflammatory. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
You put it in everything, do you?
Yeah, I put it in my smoothie every morning. I think we've worked up to like about this much.
Oh, wow.
That's like crazy. Like the fresh root, we've worked up to that. I think I might turn yellow soon.
That's so cool. In Bali, they have a drink called jamu, which is a tonic that they have in the morning, little shots of it, and you can buy big bottles of it, and it's traditional, and it's made from ginger. It's made from turmeric and ginger, and it's totally anti-inflammatory. It's a great thing to wake up to. Have a shot of that. It's really
and it really fires up everything. Like you feel the heat from within. Like everything's like.
Totally. No wonder you can go and lift that weight. That creates. Well done. So it's been really awesome catching up with you. It's been a long time. Like I haven't seen you since. I think you came to a couple of classes, so it's been a long time. But that was 4 years ago, and your skin and your face and your complexion is just like compared to then, it was good then, but now it's like amazing. And so it definitely does work this way, and obviously makes you stronger. And I love what you're doing. I love that you've created these cookbooks, and I love that you're studying at uni to be able to help people with this. And I also love that you're coaching people to teach them how to practically eat and incorporate this way of eating and living, because that's what I do as well. And it's all about, teaching people how to be practical, because everyone can have the theory and read the book, but how do you actually make that a habit and get it going? And you're doing that well in regards to that guy, that 60-year-old guy that you mentioned, transformed his life. It's transformed your life. I'm so happy for you. Thanks for joining us. So if anyone wants to catch up with you, where do they go and find you?
Okay, so probably the best place to find me would be on Instagram. So I'm Powered by Veggies, just one G in veggies. And also on Facebook, the same thing, Powered by Veggies. And I also have a website, so poweredbyveggies.com.au. I try and put up some free recipes and stuff to inspire people. But you can always ask me questions. I'm happy to answer whatever I can or refer you to the right person.
Awesome. Thanks, Hollie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Great to see you.
Yeah, likewise. Awesome. Cheers.
Thank you.